Thank you for your kindness to Harriet.
He was unpardonably rude, and he aimed at wounding more than Harriet.
I was completely mistaken in Mr. Elton. There is a littleness about him which you discovered and I did not.
You would have chosen for him better than he has chosen for himself. Harriet Smith has some first-rate qualities which Mrs. Elton is totally without. She does you credit, Emma, as you do her.
Come, set your companions an example. They're all lazy. They're all asleep. You must dance another set.
I am ready whenever I am wanted.
With whom will you dance?
With you. If you will ask me. You have shown that you can dance, and we are not really so much brother and sisters to make it improper.
No, indeed.
This is Emma, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, who we like a lot. And we both saw this in the cinema. It came out a while ago, about a month ago, I'd say. Do you want to explain the story for this adaptation?
Yes, of course. So, as you said, Anna Taylor-Joy plays Emma, who's like a socialite. It's based off of a Jane Austen book, and obviously it's had many adaptations previously on TV and the big screen. And yeah, basically set in the 1800s in England. Emma is very well-meaning, but sort of mean, girly type socialite. She's a bit selfish, and she kind of spends her days meddling in the love lives of her friends, kind of looks down on one of her friends and is very much involved in her particular love life. And it's all about her kind of falling in love and, you know, kind of meeting various different love interests through the course of the movie, one of which is played by Johnny Flynn, our friend Johnny Flynn.
You all right, mate? You all right, Johnny?
All right, mate? Why do we go to the movies? Yeah, one of them is played by Johnny Flynn, very kind of Mr. Darcy character that Johnny Flynn plays. So yeah, we saw this. I think I saw this on a Sunday afternoon, and I think you saw it a couple of days. And didn't you go with the girls? You went with your mum. You went with me?
Yeah, me and the girls. Yeah, my nan, my auntie, my mum, and I. We all went. Oh, it was lovely. Oh. We had lunch at M&S. I felt like a 65-year-old.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, I saw it on my own on a Sunday afternoon, and I came out of it and I absolutely loved it. I don't know if it was because of the whole Sunday afternoon thing. You know, I think it is a film which is perfect for a Sunday afternoon. I was cozied up in my coat because it was still quite cold then. The cinema audience that I was with at the time were really, really quiet, and I was just immersed in it, fully immersed. And the reason I liked this adaptation so much, and it is an adaptation that we have seen time and time again, for an adaptation like this to work, it needs to justify its existence on the big screen. So it can't, we have plenty of adaptations which are made by BBC Films, and they look like they could literally just be on BBC One on a Sunday evening. What Emma does is basically utilize the big screen to maximum effect. The cinematographer is the same cinematographer who worked on a really, really lovely film a few years back called Far From the Madding Crowd, which again is an adaptation of a book. And that is a beautiful, beautiful looking movie. So when I was watching it, I actually thought a lot, this is very much like Far From the Madding Crowd, a film which is probably one of my favorites of the last few years. So the way that it's shot, the way the sound of it, the way that, you know, there are musical kind of set pieces throughout it. It's not a musical, but just the use of music and the way that it looks it just looked so deserving of the big screen. And I was happy. I would have happily have paid to have seen it at the cinema, and I'd happily paid to watch it again on the TV screens where it's now available. I think the performances are really lovely across the board. I really like Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she is one of those actresses where everything I've seen her in so far to date has been good. She makes some good choices, and even if the project isn't that great, she is usually pretty like the best thing about it. Did you see Morgan a few years back?
Oh, you know what? I absolutely loved Morgan, and no one else really liked it, and I thought it was great. And you're completely right.
Yeah, she was great in that movie, and I recommend people do check it out because I'm with you. Nobody saw it, nobody really raved about it, but I thought it was really different, and I really liked that a lot. So do go check that out. So she's great in this. I just thought it was really charming. I think that, it is one of those films. I think it's a you. I think it is literally one of those films which the whole family can go watch, and I think the whole family can leave feeling pretty satisfied with it. And not just that, it looks lovely, it sounds lovely. I was very invested in the love interest and those relationships. It's funny, it's witty, it's sharp, and I just thought it ticked all the boxes for me. So I really liked it. But what did you and your family think, Dan?
Well, you're completely right. I think the film's got bucket loads of charm. I think the cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. It's very sharp and refined, like you said. And if it dare go on a Sunday afternoon BBC drama straight to BBC, I will be going to the BBC studios myself and complaining. Because you're right, it's too good to be put on BBC One, really, to be honest. It is built for the cinema, which I loved. And like I said, I went with my nan, my auntie, my mum. I went with the perfect crowd. They absolutely love period pieces. They love Jane Eyre, and they love any kind of Jane Austen story. And so they were the perfect crowd. And in the cinema, it was packed. I was the only man in the cinema, which I did not complain about. I think we all thought the same thing. We walked away and we enjoyed ourselves. We thought it was a solid adaptation of the Jane Austen classic. Kid me not, I do like period pieces. I know people think, oh, Dan just likes Nicolas Cage films. No, I say nay. I do love period pieces, and I think the cast are incredible. Anya Taylor-Joy is very shady. I loved her sense of shade in this. It was great. I also really like Mia Goth. She's another one. She's always in some really good films, and she never gets any recognition. Bill Nighy, he doesn't say a lot, but what he says is really kind of subtle and works really well with the sense of humour of the film. And then you've got Miranda Hart, who I normally don't care for, but she was really funny, and you really sympathise with her character. So I think the cast there...
Yes, definitely. I'm not... Miranda, no thank you. I will not watch that. But she was great in this.
She was. And the reason being is that everyone is perfectly casted in their roles. But we all walked away kind of feeling the same thing. It was really good, but it's long. It felt incredibly long. And I know a lot of Jane Austen fans do love that kind of, oh, will she, won't she? Oh, she's falling in love with this man, then this person. And, and that's all well and good. But there were multiple scenes in this that I think could have been cut. And it would have had no impact on the central love triangle in the film. That's just my opinion. I did find it incredibly long. And this is somebody, I'm very tolerant on Jane Austen films. I think, I'm in for the ride, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, there were just bits, especially towards the end, where it just kind of it held off, and it was almost like, tantalizing us and keeping us on, like, on the end of the chain, just kind of, oh, come on, a bit more. And I think for my mum and I and my auntie and my nan, it got to a point where we just kind of like, okay, it could easily finish at this point, and it would have been fine. But that is the only real criticism I have of the film, to be honest with you. I think, like you said, it's beautifully shot. I would dare say it's kind of, if you like Jane Eyre and you like those adaptations, and you like the Jane Austen, I think it is worth the money on streaming. But you need to invite a lot of your friends. Obviously, that's not possible now. But if you've got a family and they're all massive, massive Jane Austen fans, yeah, I think it's worth it. You know, I do think the money that Universal are charging, $15.99, is a lot still. And I know I feel like a broken record, but it is a lot of money. But I would say, I think out of all the films on there, this is a film that, you know, it looks beautiful. And I'm glad I saw it in the cinema. I know you are too. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very solid Jane Austen adaptation of the novel. And, yeah, sign me up for the next one. I just think, for me, it was slightly too long.